two boys named Sahib-e-Alam and Mukesh. Both are caught in a vicious circle of poverty.
I asked you about the idea or the theme conveyed in the story, not the summary.
Poverty.
What does the writer want to convey in the story through these two stories which are given in this? क्या आइडिया कन्वे करना चाहता है राइटर? Yes, livelihood. What do you mean here for livelihood?
How to earn their livelihood.
How to earn the livelihood? Has the writer told any methods to
How the
earn?
boys are being caught in poverty.
By giving the examples of these boys or the stories of these boys, what the writer wants to convey to the readers, to the public. Yes, Shira.
Writer has told stories of two boys, Mukesh and Sahib, and he wants to convey the idea that with sheer willpower and determination, one can achieve any goal that he has set in his life. For Mukesh, he has a dream of becoming a motor mechanic, but he has several obstacles like poverty, and he do not have the resources to fulfill his dream. And writer has shown his will and to make effort to walk to the garage and learn the skill. This is the determination of the boy to fulfill the dream.
Sit down. Any other idea? Any other idea? They have read the chapter. No? That's all? कोई आइडिया और किसी के माइंड में नहीं आ रहा है स्टोरी के बारे में? Yes, last one.
In this chapter, the author wants to convey the idea that the vicious cycle of poverty restricts the children to work for their dreams and
That is depiction of poverty, the miserable state of poverty of these children. Show anything else along with this. One idea she has given that if these children also have the determination, if they are determined and they want to do something, they can also fulfill, but they don't have the sources. We need to support them, we need to help them. The society people, the high class people should support them to fulfill their determinations or their dreams also, so that they can also live a good life just like the other people. One idea is this. Second, depiction of the poverty. The writer wants to give the vicious circle of poverty, how these people, rag pickers and bengal pickers, they are caught in this circle and they cannot come out of this. Every time they think that it is written in their fate. So the same process goes on from generation to generation. Any other idea?
The story of Sahib-e-Alam highlights the importance of freedom in one's life.
Yes, that can also be there.
As
It
he
gives
was
the importance of freedom, how he realizes when he works on the tea stall, and what type of feelings he had when he was free as a rag picker, not bound by anyone. Any other idea? That brings a social problem in our mind. You might have read in economics. Which social problem comes out of this story? Yes?
Child labor.
Child labor, very good. The story raises a social problem in front of us, the issue of child labor. How the children are compelled to work in such families in the state of poverty. The parents don't feel that education is important for them, and the children are involved in different works along with the parents so that they can earn something more. Clear? This is a very important problem, social problem that is raised through this story. Child labor. हम कहते हैं बहुत से कानून बन गए हैं, child labor नहीं है. 14 नवंबर को चिल्ड्रन डे सेलिब्रेट होता है, लेकिन अभी भी आप देखते हो in the modern time also, nowadays also we see so many children working in the tea stalls and dhabas and other factories and the farms as we are shown in this chapter. और वहाँ पर भी अभी भी same situation है vehicle making की. All the children are involved in this dangerous and risky work. that is mentioned in the chapter, the situation is still there. Another work where most of the children are involved, that is crackers, making of the crackers. शिवा काशी तरह एरिया में जाओ तो वहाँ पर बहुत से छोटे छोटे बच्चे जो हैं इन काम में involve किए गए हैं. Even here also we see many times children doing work here and there on the stalls and on the roads. Many times people are there. So this is the very big problem, social problem that has been raised in the story. You can mention all these points when you are getting the theme or the idea of the story. Okay? Please look at the book now. And if we go for the title of the story, it says Lost Spring. Here spring refers to childhood period of these children, that they lose their spring period, they lose their childhood period, which is for enjoyment, for playing, for education. But they don't get all these type of facilities and they have to work on some stalls or on some factories, in some factories doing these type of work. So in this way they lose their spring period. They don't enjoy their spring period. So the author Anise Jung was born in Rourkela and spent her childhood and adolescence in Hyderabad. She received her education in Hyderabad and in the United States of America. Her parents were both writers. Anise Jung began her career as a writer in India. She has been an editor and a columnist for major newspapers in India and abroad, and has authored several books. The following is an excerpt, means apart from the book titled Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood. This is the full name of the book. Here she analyzes the grinding poverty and traditions which condemn these children to a life of exploitation. Underline this line, which comes to your actual theme or the idea of the story. कि ये स्टोरी जो है हमें ग्राइंडिंग पॉवर्टी की और ट्रेडिशंस बताती है कि जो पुराने समय से हमारी ट्रेडिशंस चली आ रही हैं, वी फील दैट शुड नॉट बी लेफ्ट. और कई बार उन ट्रेडिशंस की वजह से ही हम एक्सप्लॉयटेशन का कॉज बन जाते हैं. So first story that is given to you in this chapter is Sometimes I Find a Rupee in the Garbage. Note on the title also. Sometimes it also comes in the short question objective part में हो सकता है. What is the title of the first story? Okay. Sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. Why do you do this? I asked Sahib. I here refers to the narrator or the writer of the story, Anise Jung. She asks Sahib, whom I encounter every morning, scrounging for gold in the garbage dumps of my neighborhood. कि अपने neighborhood में जब वो वहाँ से क्रॉस करती तो बहुत बार इस बच्चे को वो गार्बेज डंप्स के ऊपर, गंदगी के ढेर के ऊपर स्क्रॉच करते हुए, दैट मीन्स सर्च करते हुए कुछ ना कुछ पाती कि वो बच्चा कुछ ना कुछ वहाँ ढूंढ रहा होता. एंड शी encountered that child and asked, why do you do this? Sahib left his home long ago, set amidst the green fields of Dhaka. His home is not even a distant memory. मतलब उसको बहुत दूर दूर तक भी सोचे तो उसको याद नहीं आता अपना पुराना घर जो ढाका में था. He was small kid at that time. They had left their green fields in Dhaka. There were many storms that swept away their fields and homes. Due to the storms, they had to leave their homes. And his mother tells him that's why they left looking for gold in the big city where he now lives. And then they shifted in the hope of getting something, hope of getting good earning in the city. Gold here refers to the earning. कुछ का उनको अच्छा मिल जाएगा, कोई अच्छा उनको रोजगार मिल जाएगा, अच्छा काम मिल जाएगा, because their fields and their houses were destroyed by the storms in Dhaka in Bangladesh. So they left that area and they came to the city. I have nothing else to do, he mutters, looking away. And when the question is asked, this is the answer of the question that is asked in the first line by the writer. जब वो पूछती है कि why do you do this, उसका आंसर वो क्या देता है? I have nothing else to do. क्योंकि और कोई काम नहीं है, कोई रोजगार या कोई एम्प्लॉयमेंट उसको वहाँ नहीं मिल रहा. That's why he is doing all this. Go to school, I say glibly or without thinking much. Generally ऐसे उसने कह दिया कि आप स्कूल जाओ, realizing immediately how hollow the advice must sound. Then she suddenly realized that the advice which she has given, it is hollow advice, means cannot be acted acted upon. ऐसी सलाह दी जो कि पूरी नहीं हो सकती थी. But she suddenly said that boy that he should go to school. There is no school in my neighborhood. When they build one, I will go. That means the child is willing to go to school. And he quickly answers कि यहाँ आसपास कोई स्कूल ही नहीं है. जब स्कूल बनेगा तो मैं जाऊँगा. If I start a school, will you come? I asked her half joking. She was not serious at that time, and she only asked him if she starts a school, will he join? He says yes, smiling broadly. He was very happy and he gave the answer in positive. A few days later, I see him running up to me. Is your school ready? Because she used to cross that area and encounter daily this boy, and one day the boy came running to her and asked, is your school ready? Because the boy was serious for that matter, whereas the author was not serious. He just asked jokingly. It takes longer to build a school, I say, embarrassed at having made a promise that was not meant. She felt very much embarrassed, ashamed of her own wording, why she suggested him to go to school when it was not possible for her to fulfill this promise which she has made for the school. But promises like mine abound in every corner of his bleak world. Underline this line, sometimes it comes in the form of a question. But promises like mine, the promise which she has made, mine here means refers to the author. The promise जैसी कि उसने करी थी उसके साथ, abounds means in plenty, in every corner of his bleak world. His here refers to Sahib. इसके साथ बातचीत चल रही है कि उसका जो bleak world है, that means the child is representative of the whole community of that. कि उनका एक bleak world है, धुंधला सा world है, जहाँ पर भी कुछ भी clear नहीं है. They have no certainty in their life. तो उनको क्या लग रहा है कि ऐसी promises तो इन लोगों के साथ बहुत ज़्यादा रोज की जाती हैं. People come and they make promises, but nobody come to fulfill those promises. After months of knowing him, I asked him his name, and for many days she kept on passing from that way, and after months she asked his name. Sahib-e-Alam, he announces. He does not know what it means. When he tells his name, that his name is Sahib-e-Alam, he does not know the meaning of his name. He does not know what it means. If he knew its meaning, Lord of the universe. What does it mean? Sahib-e-Alam. Alam refers to the word. कि पूरे word का साहिब मतलब Lord, honor, Lord of the universe. He would have a hard time believing it. That means it would be difficult for him to believe because he belongs to a poor family. He did not have even 2 times proper meal, and he is considered as the Lord of the universe. This is irony in the name given to you. Unaware of what his name represents, he roams the streets with his friends, an army of barefoot boys who appear like the morning birds and disappear at noon. And what is shown their activity, their daily routine? He unaware of what his name represents. He does not know what is the representation or what is the meaning of his name. He roams the streets with his friends from here and there. They keep on roaming in the streets. An army of barefoot boys. Army there means a group of boys who are not wearing anything on their feet, who appear like the morning birds and disappear at noon. In the morning time they come out in the form of a group, and then they disappear in the evening, roaming here and there in the streets. Over the months, I have come to recognize each of them, and slowly when she meets them daily, she came to recognize each and every one out of that group. Why are not you wearing chappals? I asked one, and one child out of that group was there, and she asked me, why you are not wearing the chappals? My mother did not bring them down from the shelf, he answers simply, and that boy simply answers that his mother did not give him one. She has kept it on the shelf. Even if she did, he will throw them off, adds another, who is wearing shoes that do not match. And another boy in that group who was wearing shoes which did not match, means एक shoe और है दूसरा और है या उसकी dress के साथ match नहीं कर रहे थे. But what the answer he gave, that even if she did, कि अगर mother देती भी है, she here refers to the first child's mother, कि अगर mother देती भी है, he will throw them off, means he would not wear it. When I comment on it, He shuffles his feet and says nothing. I want shoes, says a third boy who has never owned a pair all his life. And the third boy says that he has a dream to wear shoes because he has never worn the shoes. Traveling across the country. Now this point again comes in the mind of the writer. The one boy says my mother does not give. Second says कि अगर mother देगी भी तो वो पहनेगा नहीं. और उसने different शूज़ पहने हुए हैं, मैचिंग शूज़ नहीं है. तीसरा जो है उसने कभी शूज़ पहने ही नहीं है. He has the dream to wear the shoes. So again she was compelled to think over, and what she thinks, that is given to you in the next lines. Traveling across the country, I have seen children walking barefoot in cities, on village roads. It is not lack of money, but a tradition to stay barefoot is one explanation. She thinks that through traveling throughout the country, she has seen many children, and she noticed that the children are walking barefoot. Of these communities, children are not wearing anything in their feet in cities or even the village roads also. She has noticed this while traveling. It's not, but she feels like this, ki what is the reason for this? Why they don't wear? Says it is not lack of money. It is not only due to the poverty that they are not wearing any chappals or shoes in their feet, but it has become a tradition for them to stay barefoot. They don't like to wear. एक ट्रेडिशन बन गई है उनकी कि उन्हें नहीं पहनने, उनके पास होंगे भी, even then they will not wear. This is one explanation that comes in her mind. I wonder if this is only an excuse to explain away a perpetual state of poverty. Then she feels and she tries to understand this thing and got surprised realizing this idea that this is only an excuse which these people have made to show their perpetual state of poverty. That means continuous state of poverty means हर generation ही उनकी इसी stage में चल रही है, poverty की stage में चल रही है कि कोई भी generation की आगे आगे जो है वो improvement नहीं आ रही कि वो इस tradition को खत्म कर दें. As a tradition they are not wearing. And second thing, that means they want to give an excuse for their perpetual condition of poverty, that they are very poor, they don't want to spend money on the shoes or on the chappals, they just want to have food. This is another explanation that comes in her mind. Now she gives us a story relating to this. She says, I remember a story. A man from Udupi, that's a town in Karnataka, once told me there was a man in Udupi who told a story which she remembers. As a young boy, he would go to school past an old temple where his father was a priest. He used to go to school, there was a young boy who used to go to school in the past days, and his father was a priest in the temple. He would stop briefly at the temple and pray for a pair of shoes. That means that young child was also not having shoes, and when he used to go to school and cross that temple where his father was a priest, he used to stay there and pray for a pair of shoes. 30 years later, I visited his town and the temple, which was now drowned in an air of desolation. After 30 years, when she visited the same place, what she notices there, that after the 30 years, that town and the temple, which was now drowned in an air of desolation, that means there was total change. Desolation is a scene of depression or the sadness, what she noticed. In the backyard, where lived the new priest, there were red and white plastic chairs. That means what she wants to show us, that after 30 years, there were changes. In that situation or in the town, there were a lot of changes were there, and what she noticed, that at the back side of the yard there were red and white plastic chairs. A young boy dressed in a grey uniform, wearing socks and shoes, arrived panting and threw his school bag on a folding bag. एक बच्चा जो है वो प्रॉपरली ड्रेसअप है, प्रॉपर उसने यूनिफॉर्म पहनी है, सॉक्स पहनी, शूज पहनी है, भागता हुआ आता है और अपना बैग जो है बेड के ऊपर फेंकता है. Looking at the boy, I remembered the prayer another boy had made to the goddess when he had finally got a pair of shoes. Then she remembered that before 30 years, when she visited after 30 years, she remembered the past incident कि 30 years पहले उसने क्या नोट किया था कि एक बच्चा जो है वहाँ से क्रॉस करता है और वहाँ प्रे करता है जिसको शूज मिल जाए. It means that prayer has been granted. क्योंकि अब जिस बच्चे को वो देख रहा है, चाहे कि वहाँ टेम्पल है या नहीं है, लेकिन उसी एरिया में उसको नज़र आ रहा है कि बहुत सी चेंजेस हैं, लोगों के पास चेयर्स भी हैं और वो प्रॉपरली ड्रेसअप होकर वहाँ से निकल रहा है. एंड शी थॉट दैट देयर इज चेंज इन द सोसाइटी नाउ इन द चिल्ड्रन ऑफ द प्रीस्ट. प्रीस्ट जो है उन्होंने अपनी फैमिली के स्टैंडर्ड को इम्प्रूव कर लिया है. इसका मतलब क्या कहने का कि उन्होंने तो अपने स्टैंडर्ड को इम्प्रूव कर लिया. दे हैव स्टार्टेड वेयरिंग शूज. Looking at the boy, I remembered the prayer another boy had made to the goddess where he had finally got a pair of shoes. Let me never lose them. और अब वो क्या प्रे करेगा कि ये जूते उसके कभी खत्म ना हो, कभी वो हमको खोए ना. मतलब अगर इम्प्रूवमेंट आई है लाइफ में तो इट शुड बी मेंटेन्ड. The goddess had granted his prayer. Young boys like the son of the priest now wore shoes. या वो शूज पहन रहे हैं. But many others like the rag pickers in my neighborhood remain shoeless. लेकिन उसके पड़ोस में जो rag pickers हैं, they are still in the same condition. They are not changing their lot. They are not trying to improve themselves. उनके पास हो भी पैसा हो भी तब भी वो इस चीज को नहीं चेंज करना चाहते. Because it has become a tradition and they had taken an excuse for their perpetual state of poverty. Though there are changes in the society, but these rag pickers, they have not changed themselves. My acquaintance with the barefoot rag pickers leads me to Simapuri. Then when she continued talking with these boys who work as rag pickers and who were barefoot, she reached to an area in Simapuri, a place on the periphery of Delhi, yet miles away from it metaphorically. Underline this statement, it's again very important for the question point of view. Why it is called as metaphorically? It is used in the form of a metaphor here. This area is in Simapuri. That is on the periphery, means outskirts, outer area of Delhi. And what the writer wants to show here is that though this area is in Delhi, which is the capital of our country, and we feel that a lot of development has been made there. The most developed area of our country if we see, but why this area which is in Delhi is not developed? We can't say the whole Delhi area is developed area. You can see these type of slum areas also here. So this is metaphorically used here कि outer area में periphery में सीमापुरी है, but it is not. It seems as if it is miles away from the main city. Though it is in Delhi, but it is not developed. Those who live here are squatters. Squatters क्या होते हैं? Those who roam here and there, those who have no permanent houses, घूमते रहते हैं वैसे. Who came from Bangladesh back in 1971. Sahib's family is among them. इसकी फैमिली जो है वो भी उनमें से एक है क्योंकि बांग्लादेश के 71 में आए. Simapuri was then a wilderness. It still is, but it is no longer empty. अभी भी वो डेवलप नहीं है, बैकवर्ड एरिया है, वाइल्डरनेस एरिया है, अभी भी ऐसा ही है. बट इट इज नॉट एम्प्टी नाउ. पहले वो एरिया खाली था, अब वहाँ पे बहुत से लोगों ने रहना शुरू कर दिया इस तरीके से. सो इट इज फुल ऑफ पीपल नाउ. इट स्टिल इज, बट इट इज नो लॉन्गर एम्प्टी. इन स्ट्रक्चर्स ऑफ मड with roofs of tin and terraplane, devoid of sewage, drainage or running water, live 10,000 rag pickers. In this one line, they have given you the picture of the whole society. सीमापुरी में पूरे एरिया में कैसे हैं एरिया और कैसी वहाँ पर कंडीशन है लोगों की. दे आर लिविंग इन द स्ट्रक्चर्स ऑफ मड, मिट्टी से बने हुए घरों में रह रहे हैं. नो परमानेंट हाउसेस विद रूफ्स ऑफ टीन एंड टेराप्लेन. टीन और टेराप्लेन जो हार्ड क्लॉथ होता है, तरपाल जिसको बोलते हैं, उसके कवर करके उन्होंने रूफ्स बनाई हुई हैं. डिवॉइड ऑफ सीवेज एंड ड्रेनेज और रनिंग वाटर, कि ना वहाँ वाटर फैसिलिटी है, ना सीवरेज फैसिलिटी है, ना वहाँ पर ड्रेनेज फैसिलिटी है. So in this condition they are living in this area of Simapuri. Near about 10,000 rag pickers are living. They have lived here for more than 30 years without an identity, without permits, but with ration cards that get their names on voters list and enable them to buy grain. Those people who are living there since last 30 years, or the years has increased, it is according to the chapter when it was written. From 1971 they had shifted, and for these years there is no development. Still they are living without any identity. कोई उनके पास आइडेंटिटी कार्ड नहीं है. जैसे आपके पास अपना आधार कार्ड है या आपके पास वोटर कार्ड बनता है. They don't need these type of identities. They don't have any permit कि वहाँ पर अगर उन्हें घर बनाए हैं तो उसकी परमिशन नहीं है, नो परमिट इज विद देम, बट दे आर लिविंग विद द राशन कार्ड। राशन कार्ड्स उनके कैसे बन गए? यू पीपल माइट नॉट नो अबाउट द राशन कार्ड्स बिकॉज नाउअडेज इट इज नॉट इन यूज। एक हर मेंबर फैमिली के लिए एक राशन कार्ड बना होता था हेड ऑफ द फैमिली के नाम के साथ, उसके साथ आगे मेंबर्स के नाम होते थे। सपोज घर में 4 मेंबर्स हैं, 5 मेंबर्स हैं, तो उसके लिए एक राशन कार्ड बना होता था। एंड इन द ओल्डन टाइम्स देयर वर फेयर प्राइस शॉप्स, यू माइट हैव रेड इन इकोनॉमिक्स दिस पॉइंट, कि फेयर प्राइस शॉप्स होती थी जहाँ पर कि उस राशन कार्ड के थ्रू आपको ग्रेन्स, शुगर, पल्सेस, ये सारी चीज़ें जो थी, जो नेसेसिटीज़ हैं हमारी, वो मिलती थी अकॉर्डिंग टू द नंबर ऑफ मेंबर्स। जितने फैमिली में मेंबर्स हैं उस पर रीजनेबल रेट के ऊपर वो चीज़ें जो थी वो मिलती थी। तो राशन कार्ड वाज कंपल्सरी, दैट वाज ओनली आइडेंटिटी एट दैट टाइम फॉर द रेजिडेंट्स की दोज पीपल हु आर लिविंग इन दैट पर्टिकुलर एरिया। वहाँ पर हर एरिया वाइज अलॉटमेंट होती थी, डिपो, राशन डिपो कहा जाता था इनको। तो दे वर हैविंग द राशन कार्ड्स एंड देयर नेम वाज इन द वोटर लिस्ट। Why the name was added in the voter list but they don't have any identity? वोटर कार्ड उनके पास नहीं था, आइडेंटिटी कार्ड उनके पास नहीं था। जैसे आजकल हमारे लोगों के वोटर कार्ड्स बने हुए हैं, इलेक्शंस के टाइम आप लेके जाते हो, अपना कार्ड दिखाते हो, देन दे रिकॉग्नाइज एंड एक्नॉलेज योर आइडेंटिटी, और नाउअडेज आधार कार्ड इज देयर, ठीक है। लेकिन उस टाइम पे आधार कार्ड नहीं था, ये जब के चैप्टर की बात हो रही है। ओनली राशन कार्ड्स वर देयर एंड इट वाज द ओनली आइडेंटिटी। कहीं भी आपको कुछ भी अपने काम के लिए जाना होता था गवर्नमेंट के लिए, तो यू हैव टू शो योर राशन कार्ड कि आपके राशन कार्ड में आपका नाम उसमें एंटर्ड है। बट व्हाट दीज पीपल वर हैविंग, दे वर हैविंग राशन कार्ड्स but their name was entered in the voters list but they don't have any identity, they don't have any permit. Name was added in the voter list by the politicians who came for the voting. They need to have their supports, उनकी votes उनको चाहिए थी, जिस वजह से उनके नाम जो है वो वोटर लिस्ट में ऐड करवा दिए गए और राशन कार्ड के थ्रू उनको फूड जो था वो डिलीवर कर दिया जाता था, so that they can vote them. जिस पार्टी ने उनके पास जाना होता तो वो अपनी सपोर्ट के लिए उनको राशन कार्ड के ऊपर सामान, फूड, ग्रेन्स जो भी थे वो पहुंचा देते थे, अदरवाइज दे वर नॉट हैविंग आइडेंटिटी। इफ एट द एंड ऑफ द डे we can feed our families and go to bed without an aching stomach, we would rather live here than in the fields that gave us no grain. तो उस टाइम पे क्या सिचुएशन थी इनकी, कि कहते हैं कि अगर हमें दिन में खाना खाने के लिए मिल रहा है और हमारी फैमिलीज जो हैं बेड के ऊपर भूखी नहीं जा रही, तो वी आर सेटिस्फाइड। दैट मीन्स देयर फर्स्ट नीड वाज अबाउट द फूड। दे डोंट वांट एनी आइडेंटिटी, नहीं है आइडेंटिटी कोई बात नहीं, लेकिन उनको खाना जो था वो प्रोवाइड किया जा रहा था थ्रू ऑल दीज राशन कार्ड्स और द पीपल हु वर कमिंग देयर फॉर देयर वेटिंग। वी वुड रादर लिव हियर दैन इन द फील्ड्स दैट गेव अस नो ग्रेन। So they were happy to live here, at least they were getting the foods instead of going to those fields of Dhaka and Bangladesh where everything was destroyed and they were not getting anything. Say a group of women in tattered sarees, फटे हुए कपड़े पहने हुए, torn sarees, old torn clothes they were wearing, and they were talking like this when our author went to that area of Simapuri. When I asked them why they left their beautiful land of green fields and rivers, so this was the answer given by those women. Wherever they find food, they pitch their tents that become transit homes. क्या सोचते थे वो लोग? कहते कि जहाँ वो जाते, they pitch their tents there, अपना वहीं पर टेंट लगा देते और वहाँ पर वो रहना शुरू कर देते, just for their survival. Still time is there, time is not for you. And then wherever they find food, they pitch their tents and that become transit home. Transit home means temporary, not permanent. Children grow up in them, becoming partners in survival. And children, they become partners in their survival. That means they help them, they support them in the earning for the survival. And survival in Simapuri means rag. Underline this statement again. Why it is said that survival in Simapuri means rag picking only, because there was no other alternative, no other employment. कोई काम नहीं था उनके पास वहाँ पर करने के लिए कि वो किसी और तरीके से अपना earnings लेते और उनका survival होता. It was the only work that they have to do, rag picking. Through the years, it has acquired the proportions of a fine art. So they were becoming so expert in this rag picking that it took the turn of a fine art. जैसे कि एक बहुत बड़ी कला हो रैग पिकिंग करना भी. With the passage of time, it took the form of fine art. Garbage to them is gold. It is their daily bread, a roof over their heads, even if it is a leaking roof. But for a child, it is even more. Parents के लिए, adults के लिए क्या था? It is just like a food, providing them opportunity where they get the things on the garbage. So it was just like a gold for them, and they were having daily bread from that, roof over their heads. Though even it was a leaking roof, कि चाहे उसकी वो repair नहीं करवा सकते थे, जैसी भी थी, they considered it as their shelter. But for the children, it is even more. It's not because children don't understand about the earning or the source of survival only. They consider it as an adventurous activity. That's why it was something more than the gold for them, survival than for them. For adults, it was a survival. क्योंकि बच्चे जा रहे हैं garbage से कुछ ना कुछ ढूंढ कर ला रहे हैं, तो उनको पैसा मिल रहा है. That is giving them food, or this was the way or the source of their survival. But for the children, it has different importance. That was their adventurous activities. One day they are find something else, another day they will find something else. So it was adventurous activity कि अगले दिन उनको कुछ और नई चीज वहाँ से मिल जाती है. Though they sell it and get the money out of that for their survival. I sometimes find a rupee, even a 10 rupee note, साहिब says. और जब हमारी ऑथर उससे बातचीत करती है, तो साहिब का क्या जवाब है? कहते कि मुझे कभी-कभी तो 1 रुपी मिल जाता है और कभी 10 रुपी का नोट भी मिल जाता है. His eyes lighting up, feeling very happy. खुश हो रहा है, उसकी आंखों में चमक है कि उसको कुछ ना कुछ वहाँ से गार्बेज से मिलता है. When you can find a silver coin in a heap of garbage, you don't stop scrounging, for there is hope of finding more. It seems that for children, garbage has a meaning different from what it means to their parents. It has a different meaning for the children. What it means for the parents, the same is not for the children, and they got very excited. और क्यों वो कहते हैं उसको scrounge करना, उसको सर्च करना छोड़ेंगे when they are getting something new every day. कि आज एक 1 रुपी मिला है तो अगले दिन 10 रुपी मिल सकता है, सिल्वर कॉइन मिला है तो अगले दिन गोल्ड कॉइन भी मिल सकता है. In that hope, they keep on searching. Yeah. So the last line of this passage is, for the children it is wrapped in wonder, for the elders it is a means of survival. Underline